Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, December 22, 2015. Join us for the next 45 minutes as we deliver today's top stories around the globe. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are here to give you carefully gathered stories, assuring you of accurate, truthful, and balanced newscasts. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
We are also seen in 1,360 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through www.untvweb.com. This is
Y News.
Here are the headlines. President Benigno Aquino III signs the 3 trillion peso General Appropriations Act of 2016. Drivers in the Araneta bus terminal undergo mandatory drug testing. The Philippine National Police calls for a close watch against illegal firecrackers.
3 Department of Social Welfare and Development officials may either face suspension or dismissal due to rotten relief goods in Region 8. And a Filipino community in North America rejoices over Pia Wurtzbach's Miss Universe 2015 victory.
First in the news, President Benigno Aquino III signs Republic Act No. 10717 or the 3 trillion peso 2016 national budget and sets a new record in the nation's budget history. Tell us why, Nel Mariboco.
Sa araw pong ito, nasaksihan natin ang isa na namang makasaysayang ito sa ating bansa, ang pagsasabatas ng 3.002 trillion pesos na pambansang budget para sa 2016. Sa pagtutulungan ng ehekutibo at ng Kongreso at ng iba't iba pang institusyon, panibagong record na naman ang ating nakamit. Ito po ang ika-6 na sunod na taon na naipasa ang budget ng bayan sa tamang oras.
President Aquino signed the 3 trillion peso 2016 national budget early this morning in Malacanang Palace. It was witnessed by cabinet members and leadership of Congress. A big chunk of the budget was allocated to the Department of Education with almost 437 billion pesos. Second is the Department of Public Works and Highways with allocated budget of 400.4 billion pesos. Other agencies with big allocation are the Department of National Defense with 175.2 billion budget, the Department of the Interior and Local Government with 154.5 billion pesos, the Department of Health with 128.5 billion, the Department of Social Welfare and Development with 111 billion pesos, the Department of Agriculture with 94 billion, the Department of Transportation and Communications with allocated budget of 48.5 billion, the Department of Finance with 33.2 billion, and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources with 24.8 billion pesos. A total of 62.7 billion pesos were allocated by the government to the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program for their target of 4.6 million beneficiaries for the upcoming year. Public services got the highest percentage in the budget with more than 500 billion pesos. President Aquino thanks the Congress for the quick passage of proposed national budget. The President says the primary objective of the Republic Act No. 10717 or the General Appropriations Act of 2016 is to promote inclusive growth.
Ngayong patapos na ang ating termino, binibigyan natin ng kapasidad ang susunod na administrasyon na ipagpatuloy at higit pang maisulong ang pagbabagong nangyayari sa ating lipunan. Nakasad nga po sa mga pahina ng librong ito ang matino at maayos na detalye upang tugunan ang pangangailangan sa susunod na taon. Ang hangad po natin, huwag nang ipasa sa iba ang minana nating problema.
Nel Mariboco, reporting for Y News.
Vice President Jejomar Binay tops the latest presidential survey conducted by Pulse Asia. Darlene Basingan will tell us why.
Vice President Jejomar Binay is on the lead, according to the latest Pulse Asia survey on presidentiables. Binay garnered 33%, followed by Davao City Mayor Rodrigo Duterte with 23%. Next is Senator Grace Poe with 21%, former DILG Secretary Marojas with 17%, and Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago at the least with 4%. Binay was able to recover from 19% last September. For his part, Binay said the results is just a snapshot of the people's sentiment. He added that the final results will be revealed in the elections in May next year. Nevertheless, he is still thankful for the result, saying he still has a lot of supporters despite the dirty tricks of his opponents. On the other hand, Marojas said the surveys are uncertain. For him, what is important is to maintain a good record and stick to the clear platform of the straight path, and prefers to continue on with his work. Meanwhile, in the vice presidential survey, Cheese Escudero ranked first, followed by Bongbong Marcos, Alan Cayetano ranked third, LENI Robredo fourth, Gregorio Honasan fifth, and finally Antonio Trillanes fourth in the sixth rank.
Ginagalang, tinatanggap at pinag-aaralan namin, tinitingnan namin bilang giya ang bawat survey, iba-iba man ang resulta. Sa parehong period, sino man ang mataas, sino man ang mababa, dapat pag-aralan lamang nila at hindi dapat magalit yung mababa o magyabang yung mataas. Dahil magbabago at magbabago pa rin yan hanggang sa araw ng eleksyon.
Escudero admits that Senator Grace Poe's disqualification cases had a great impact on her ranking. Even so, Escudero said he will continue to reach out to people even after Comelec's first and second division had disqualified her.
Na hopefully, pag pumabor kay Senator Grace ang Korte Suprema, mababawi din naman yun. Patuloy lamang kami ni Senator Grace na mag-iikot at ipaparating yung aming mensahe, plataforma at pangarap para sa Pilipinas sa mas maraming lugar at sa mas marami nating mga kababayan.
Meanwhile, Senator Tito Soto tops the senatorial survey. Also included in the winning circle are Senators Recto, Drilon, and Osmeña, former Senators Lacson, Gordon, Subiri, Pangilinan, De Lima, Pacquiao, Gingona, Gatchalian, and Hontiveros. The latest Pulse Asia survey was conducted from December 4 to 11, 2015, with 1,800 respondents from different places in the country. Terlene Basingan reporting for Y News.
LP's candidate for Vice President visits Davao City and categorically declares that she feels safe there despite the rift between her party's presidential bet, Mar Rojas, and Davao City Mayor Rodrigo Duterte. Joy Domingo will tell us why.
Liberal Party Vice Presidential LENI Robredo visits Davao City to speak in the Mindanao Basic Conversations with farmers and fisher folks. As an incident to this, she also goes to the wake of Councilor Leo Avila, who died last Sunday, who was also a member of the Liberal Party. Robredo says she is particular about giving special attention to farmers, fisher folks, and urban poor.
Ito ako at home kasi ito yung matagal kong trabaho. Dati ako nasa saligan, isang alternative law group, yung mga katrabaho namin, mga basic sectors talaga. Sila yon.
Asked about Duterte and Rojas rift, the congresswoman expressed her disappointment that legitimate issues that need to be addressed are overlooked.
Sana mahinto na kasi marami kaming kailangang asikasuhin na tingin ko hindi naman nakakatulong sa amin lahat na ganitong level yung usapan.
However, Robredo expressed her gratitude to supporters who are pushing for a Duterte-Robredo tandem.
Yun nga, magiging mahirap para sa akin kasi yung sensitivities nga sa partido. Kasi pag nilagay ko din yung sarili ko sa lugar ng aking katandem, di ba? Pag meron siyang sinusuportahan na ibang pangalawang pangulo, syempre sasama yung loob ko. Kaya dapat maging sensitive din ako sa ganun.
She said she finds no conflict if in case she wins together with another presidentiable, particularly Mayor Rodi Duterte.
Kasali naman yung sa mandate ng kahit sino mananalo na kailangan makipagtulungan. Lalo na yung pangalawang pangulo, kailangan makipagtulungan siya sa kanyang pangulo.
The vice presidentiable concluded her visit in Davao City with a courtesy call to Sara Duterte, whom she is good friends with, in and out of politics. A friendship she wishes not to be affected by political concerns.
Pinag-usapan namin yung asawa ko, nagpapasalamat siya, marami daw sa kanyang naitulong. Ako naman kinikwento ko sa kanya na nung nabubuhay pa yung asawa ko, kung ano yung good words na nakakwento ng asawa ko tungkol kay Mayor Sara. Ano naman, yung asawa ko very appreciative. Hindi lang kay Mayor Sara, pati kay Mayor Digong.
She intends to return to Davao on the 29th for a personal trip when she attends City Councilor Mabel Acosta's wedding. Joey Domingo reporting for Y News.
Not all overseas Filipinos can vote using the automated election system. Meanwhile, parties to the Grace Poe disqualification cases may soon be able to bring their cases up to the Supreme Court. Tell us why, Victor Cosare.
30 overseas posts will be using an automated election system in next year's polls. These are areas located in the North and Latin America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and the Middle East. Of the 1.4 million registered voters, only 1.1 million can use the AES. Other posts will still be using the manual and postal voting system. However, 3 posts, particularly in Baghdad, Damascus, and Tripoli, which has a total of almost 4,000 voters, will not be able to conduct polls.
Now, there will be 3 posts that will not conduct elections because of their current evacuation status. We're working so that they will be allowed to vote in adjacent posts. Now, para hindi naman sila ma-disenfranchise.
Meanwhile, the Comelec On-Bank has finished voting on the 2 motions for reconsideration filed by Senator Grace Poe with respect to the ruling of the first and second divisions of the poll body. However, the Commission has refused to give further details on the outcome of the voting. It can be recalled that the second division came out with a unanimous or 3-0 voting, while the first division ended in a majority or a 2-1 vote in favor of canceling Poe's certificate of candidacy for president.
Not all commissioners voted the same. The parties can now go to the Supreme Court very soon. As we said, the Supreme Court is the final arbiter.
On the other hand, Comelec will start the initial loading of the list of voters and the partial list of candidates to the election management system. Comelec explained that candidates facing petitions before the poll body will be included in the initial loading of data as long as decisions on their cases have not yet become final and executory.
Lahat naman na nag-file ng COC nandyan yan. And then, isa-isa mong tatanggalin, di ba?
Victor Cosare reporting for Y News.
Moderate to heavy traffic is now being experienced across major roads in Metro Manila. Joyce Balancho is now in Commonwealth Avenue to tell us why live. Good evening, Joyce.
Yes, good evening, Gerry. You are right. Moderate to heavy traffic is now stretching across the major roads in Metro Manila, particularly along those roads nearest to the biggest shopping malls. And this could be because of the holiday season. Many people are still out and availing the latest promos and sales available in those malls. And we have personally experienced that minutes earlier. That heavy flow of traffic or slow-moving traffic in Quezon City Circle going here in Commonwealth Avenue. As you can see, here in my location, on the northbound lane of Commonwealth going to SM Fairview, traffic is now light to moderate, while on the other side, on the southbound lane leading to Quezon City Circle, vehicles are moving faster. Now let's check the traffic situation in different parts of Metro Manila as of this hour. If you're coming from EDSA going to Quezon City Circle, expect a moderate to heavy flow of traffic along Quezon Avenue, North Avenue, and even East Avenue. This slow pace will stretch until Quezon City Circle as more vehicles going or exiting to major roads in Quezon City are converging here. Motorists will also experience moderate traffic in Commonwealth Pilcoa, but it will get lighter approaching UP Diliman. Here in Commonwealth, traffic will start to build up again in Tandang Sora intersection as many vehicles are crossing towards Katipunan C5. But after this intersection, vehicles will start to move faster going north of Commonwealth. Traffic is light in most areas in Commonwealth, but expect bumper to bumper once you approach a bottleneck area after Commonwealth Rotonda. This slow-moving traffic will stretch all the way to Fairview Center Mall intersection. Southbound traffic is generally light, only a quick build-up at Tandang Sora intersection. Meanwhile, in EDSA, Gerry, motorists will have to really extend their patience on the road as heavy traffic is now being experienced in most areas. In the southbound lane, traffic is starting to build up along Balintawak Market. MMDA advises the public to take alternate routes and as much as possible avoid the area of Muñoz as 2 lanes are now being occupied by the ongoing construction of Dario Bridge. Going south of EDSA, traffic is also moderate to heavy along Trinoma area, and it will get heavier at Quezon Avenue flyover. This bumper-to-bumper will stretch all the way to White Plains, Connecticut. On the northbound lane of EDSA, heavy traffic starts at Magallanes MRT station as vehicles coming from Pasay, Pasong Tamo Extension, and SLEX are converging in this area. Also take alternate routes and avoid areas of Guadalupe, Shaw Boulevard, Ortigas, and Cubao Farmers as vehicles are moving very slow in those areas. Gerry, just a friendly tip to our motorists, they can be easily updated with the regular traffic condition across different roads in Metro Manila if they're going to download and use some of their friendly applications like the Waze and the MMDA traffic application. And that is our latest traffic update live here in Commonwealth Avenue. Back to you, Gerry.
Thank you, Joyce Balancho, reporting live from Commonwealth Avenue. In other news, provincial bus drivers undergo mandatory drug testing at the Araneta bus terminal. Juan Hoxon tells us why.
The Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board conducts a mandatory drug testing to all bus drivers at the Araneta bus terminal this morning. This is part of the Oplan Ligtas Biyahe of the Department of Transportation and Communication. Before a bus leaves, the drivers are invited to the drug testing station. Results will come out in less than 5 minutes after the biometrics and some specimen had been gathered. Traces of shabu and marijuana in a person can be detected through the urine sample. If found negative, drivers will be given a health certificate as a proof that they passed the test. If found positive of illegal drugs, the driver will be brought to the nearest hospital for a confirmatory test, and if he yields positive again, he will be brought to the nearest police station. He will also not be permitted to drive.
Hindi po na sila makakabiyahe, so kailangan yung mga bus companies should provide a replacement para doon sa kanilang driver at naabisohan naman na po sila tungkol dito.
Papayag po kasi parang dito sa marami ng mga pasahero na dito sa kanilang biyahe ng mga driver, conductor ay malinis na ginagamit ng mga bawal.
LTFRB also inspected ticket counters to check if bus companies follow the tariff. The regulatory board clarifies that overcharging and undercharging is prohibited because fares are regulated. Acquiring bus tickets at the Araneta bus terminal is already getting difficult. As many buses are fully booked, some have taken their risks as chance passengers. Many passengers are impatient due to delayed trips.
Kailangan na spasialin ng mga tao kasi malalayo pa ang uwian niya. Kung hindi tayo pamilya, ika kami dito. Importante pag nakalib kami, tapos ika kami dito umaasa. Dami-dami ng bus.
The special permits issued by the LTFRB will be effective tomorrow. Special permits have been issued to more than 700 bus units to augment the numbers of buses this holiday. Mon Hoxon reporting for Y News.
The leadership of the Philippine National Police has called for a close watch against illegal firecrackers. Joanna will tell us why.
The leadership of the Philippine National Police has urged its personnel to be aggressive in their campaign against illegal firecrackers. According to PNP Police Director General Ricardo Marquez, they have deployed their personnel to intensify monitoring and confiscation of illegal firecrackers being sold in the market. Police commanders are also tasked to conduct inspection of stalls and firecracker factories in coordination with the local government units and the Bureau of Fire Protection.
I-reduce yung injuries that result from firecrackers. Package of measures, di ba? You have to go down to the ground, do some crime prevention tips. Talagang kakausapin mo. Yung mga, ikalawa, siyempre, yung focus law enforcement doon sa mga nagdidinda ng bawal.
The general also said that police commanders assigned to areas with a high incidence of firecracker-related injuries but no record of arrests shall be called in for questioning.
Ang context kasi ng campaign against illegal firecrackers ay nakakawing doon sa injuries on the ground. So, sinabi ko sa mga regional directors natin is, ang end state ng directive natin sa campaign against illegal firecrackers ay the campaign should be bold and potent enough such that yung ibang dating nagtitinda ng illegal firecrackers hindi magtitinda dahil pag may injuries dyan, sisingilin ko kayo.
At present, the PNP records the arrest of 3 sellers of illegal firecrackers in Regions 7 and 11. The Chief of the Philippine National Police had emphasized that guaranteed punishment awaits any police officer who is found guilty of connivance with the dealer or manufacturer of these illegal firecrackers. Marquez had also encouraged the public to report any individual who is caught using illegal firecrackers and pyrotechnics to the PNP. Joanano reporting for Y News.
Rebel groups say they are ready to continue their peace talks with the government as shown in their commitment with the holiday ceasefire agreement. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
From December 23 until January 3 next year, the New People's Army and the Armed Forces of the Philippines will cease from carrying out offensive operations against each other. This is after both agreed to hold out ceasefire for the entire holiday celebration. According to Sator Ocampo, a known supporter of New People's Army and Communist Party of the Philippines, though many can benefit from ceasefire, it cannot be prolonged or be held permanent as there are still negotiations between parties that need to take place.
Ay isang gesture ito ng National Democratic Front na pinapahayag nila yung kahandaan pa rin lang ipagpatuloy yung peace negotiations sa kabila nung parang pagsasara na ng Aquino government.
Ocampo said there were milestones in peace talks held by previous administrations, but the current Aquino government failed to push it further by not compromising and finding common ground. On the side of the government, GPH panel chair Alex Padilla said it is not true that the government has been rejecting the socio-economic reforms proposed by the rebel groups.
Una-una, hindi pa tayo umaabot sa agrarian reform at genuine industrialization only because hindi pa tayo nag-uusap on the socio-economic agreement, yung tinatawag na CASER. No? Ang natapos pala naman ay yung human rights.
He also said that the government has always been pushing for making the ceasefire permanent for the common good of the country.
We've always proposed yung mga prolonged ceasefires, no? Sa atin okay lang yon, no? Pero syempre during that prolonged ceasefire, na-enforce pa rin yung usual police and military actions, no, on mga violators. Ang ating pamahalaan syempre laging bukas yan sa pag-uusap, no? Pero dapat sana yung pag-uusap ay sincero, tapat, bukas, at talaga meron parang patutunguhan na objective.
Joyce Balancho reporting for Y News.
There is a need to revise the plan for the restoration of the historical Metropolitan Theater after the NCCA successfully acquired it several months ago. Darlene Basingan, would you tell us why?
It was in 1931 when the now historical Metropolitan Manila Theater or MET was opened to the public. Consultant for the restoration of MET architect Gerry says it is one of the country's iconic buildings that symbolizes Filipinos' assertion of their social identity amid the ongoing colonialism at that time.
At that time, few Filipinos could enter, no? Hotels, restaurants, no, those luxurious spaces, mga cafes, but here you can enter, no, you can enter an escapist realm and be beguiled by the allure of cinema and the stage.
The National Commission for Culture and the Arts bought the MET from GSIS for 270 million pesos, vowing to restore and reopen it to the public. Pico says the restoration plan for the MET was made 10 years ago and therefore has to be revised as the level of the building's deterioration has already changed. The revision on the MET restoration plan is expected to start in January next year.
It's a reinforced concrete building, so I think it's about 80% structurally stable. But the interior is gone. So because of water penetration, nasisira yung mga bakal sa loob ng konkreto. Napakalaki nung gagawin sa interior. So napakataas ng level of deterioration niya sa loob. So talagang malaki ang magagastos natin sa rehabilitation nitong building.
The NCCA plans to make it what it terms the People's Theater or the theater for the masses, like its original purpose. Architect Lico says they initially planned to make it a cultural mall, where museum places, library, and even conference areas, among others, will be created. In August, the Budget Department released 9.48 million pesos for the first stages of the restoration of Met. The NCCA says they are yet to determine the total amount needed for the building's restoration.
To make any kind of final assessment, because it will really depend on what we find after the initial assessment. Initial assessment will be the next stage after cleanup po.
The cleanup drive for the Met started this month. The public is also encouraged to participate in the cleanup that may last until May next year. The Met has undergone its first rehabilitation during the Marcos regime. During Arroyo's term, the restoration resumed but was postponed anew due to budgetary and ownership concerns. The NCCA says they see no reason now for the postponement of the historical building's restoration, since it is already under its care. It added that the restoration may last within 5 to 10 years. Lorraine Basingan reporting for Y News.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development National Capital Region organized a gathering of homeless street families in Pasay City. They shared success stories under the agency's modified conditional cash transfer program. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
About 1,000 families that receive shelter assistance from DSWD's modified conditional cash transfer program gathered today in Pasay City. They are among the 4,000 families in Metro Manila who formerly dwelled the streets but now have decent homes to live in. The DSWD shoulders the rent for their houses. They were also given livelihood assistance.
First time po namin itong ginawa para po i-gather natin lahat ng ating mga beneficiaries na homeless street families. Na ngayon po ay ito po lahat to ay meron na hong shelter assistance, meaning po nasa bahay na sila at sila po ay continue po ating support.
The DSWD started the program in 2012, which is intended for the homeless families living in the sidewalks. The family of Sanivith Sanalila, a native of Davao, is one of the first beneficiaries. She has 2 children. She said they were forced to live in the streets following the demolition of their homes in Tondo, Manila.
Binigyan po kami ng 6 months na pang-upa ng bahay, cash for work, tapos yung sa yung assistance po sa mga bata, yung educational at saka sa health po, nagbibigay din po sila. Tinuruan din po kami ng paano po mag-apply ng trabaho, rin po kami ng, pinaten po kami ng training.
Her family's condition improved a lot in the past 3 years. Aside from a warm home, she has now a job as a street sweeper in Tondo. She also became the leader of one of the clusters of families who are also beneficiaries of DSWD. May's family belonged to the newest batch of homeless families rescued by the DSWD. She was living in the streets of Santa Cruz, Manila since she married in 1992 until they were enrolled as DSWD beneficiary last September.
Hindi lang laking tulong, laking ginawa rin po na nagkaroon kami ng bahay, na naanuan kong pagkain ng maayos sa mga anak ko, na hindi ko na po tinutulog sa kalye.
She does menial jobs in the market just to make both ends meet for her family. May promises that they will work more diligently because they don't want to return to the streets.
Sana po sa susunod pong uupo ay ipagpatuloy pa rin ang ganitong programa. At sana naman po mas marami pa hong programa ang maanuhan nila sa mga nangangailangan po.
Joyce Balancho reporting for Y News.
Y News will be right back. Three officials from the Department of Social Welfare and Development are now subject for suspension or dismissal in relation to the discovery of rotten relief goods in Region 8. John Ano will tell us why.
3 officials from the Department of Social Welfare and Development might be suspended or dismissed if they are found guilty of negligence which resulted to the spoiled goods found in a Tacloban warehouse. According to DSWD Secretary Dinky Soliman, they are planning to finish their investigation and have their decision on this issue before the year ends. In the program Get It Straight with Kuya Daniel Razon, Secretary Soliman stated that these officials were already relieved from the warehouse responsibility because of their negligence.
May investigasyon and kung ano yung darating na resulta na ginagawa ko ngayon. Sabi ko pwedeng kailangan bago matapos ng Disyembre, may rekomendasyon na dismissal or suspension po ang pinaka mangyayari. Dahil responsibilidad po namin na siguraduhin na ang mga goods na nasa warehouse ay una, maayos na papangalagaan. Pangalawa, meron naman kaming protocol na nakalagay ang expiration dates. Kailan siya pumasok, kailan siya dapat mailabas. So, may ganung procedure na hindi nasunod.
The Secretary also added that it is the responsibility of the agency to ensure that all relief items must be disposed before it expires.
Unang-una, hindi kami dapat mabulukan.
Exactly. Dahil sa dami naman ng bibigyan.
Oo. At ang aming procedure, kung alam mong malapit ng expiry date and yet wala pa tayong sakuna, dahil nagpe-preposition nga kami
okay.
Dahil kailangan, hindi ka pwedeng mag-procure pag padating yung bagyo, di ba? So naka-preposition, pero kung nakikita mo na malapit ng expiration, ginagawa po yung food for work or kaya ibinibigay sa mga facilities na aming minamanage, yung
so
orphanages.
dapat i-out nila talaga doon. Okay.
At gagamitin at kakainin.
Yes.
These food packs contain rice, milk, coffee, and canned goods. These relief items were supposed to have been distributed among victims of Typhoon Ruby in eastern Visayas in 2014. In line with this, the department reassured that they are doing all efforts to improve their repacking system through mechanized food repacking. This assures that relief goods that will be distributed among our kababayans during calamities are in condition. John Anu reporting for Y News.
Farmers in Pampanga are seeking government assistance after their farmlands are submerged in flood water due to the overflow of the Pampanga River. Although flood water in Pampanga has begun receding yesterday, the towns of Macabebe, Masantol, Candaba, San Simon, and San Luis remain flooded due to the high tide. Based on reports from the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, about 4,500 farmers are affected by the flood. San Luis Mayor Venancio Asyong Macapagal said they have raised their concerns to the Pampanga provincial government as damage to properties in their town is now estimated at around 61 million pesos. He adds that they are finding ways to help affected farmers.
Meron na kami kinausap na mga siggrower sa may Muñoz sa Nueva Ecija. May pinapunta na akong tao doon, may nakaprepare naman kahit paano yung kahit mga ibang individual na farmers dito, meron na silang na matulungan ko para yung paghanap ng binhi na certified seeds.
Pag-asa has decided to remove Nona from the list of typhoon names based on the extent of damage it caused to the country. Grace Casin will tell us why.
Nona is the second name to be deleted or to be decommissioned by Pag-asa this year. This is because the total damage to properties it occurred has reached to 5 billion pesos. Prior to this, Pag-asa had already replaced Typhoon Lando with Liwayway after the former left Luzon with a total damage worth of 10 billion pesos. According to Pag-asa, a typhoon that causes at least 1 billion pesos worth of damage or leaves about 300 casualties will be automatically removed from the list.
Yung mga bagyong nagbibigay ng damage na malalakas, ay talagang practice na nila na ina-unlist na nila sa kanilang listahan at binibigyan na ng panibagong pangalan.
In 2014, a total of 5 names have been removed from the list of names. They are Glenda, Jose, Mario, Ruby, and Senyang. In 2013, the names Yolanda, Santi, and Labuyo had already been decommissioned. The weather agency also had removed Pablo in 2012 and Sendong in 2011. The agency officials are yet to come up with the substitute name for Nona. Based on data from Department of Agriculture, Typhoon Nona had caused more than 3 billion pesos worth of damage to agriculture, mostly of corn, palay, and high-value crops. Grace Casen reporting for Y News.
Expect good weather tomorrow in most parts of the country. Pag-asa said daytime condition will improve, especially in the Visayas and Mindanao areas, with a bit of warmer temperature compared to that in the past days. Northeast monsoon or Amihan is now affecting northern Luzon. Expect isolated light rains in Metro Manila, Ilocos Region, Cordillera, Cagayan Valley, and Central Luzon, while isolated thunderstorms will be experienced over the rest of the country. Seventeen schools in New Hampshire's Nashua School District were closed on Monday after the district received a detailed threat of violence against students. Meanwhile, rescuers sift through rubble in southern China over the weekend. Christine Domingo will tell us why.
In China, rescuers searched through a mountain of rubble on Tuesday, December 22, for the more than 80 missing people after a giant flow of mud and construction waste engulfed buildings in southern China's Shenzhen. Rescue workers scoured through the 380,000 square meters or 94-acre site using heavy diggers to reach possible survivors trapped under mud up to 10 meters or 33 feet deep. On Tuesday morning, rescuers stopped reporters from entering and filming in the central area of the site. A report carried on the China Defense Ministry's website said police and military forces were in a race against time and were using drones to map out the scene and life-detecting probes to find possible signs of survivors. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang has ordered a probe into the landslide in Shenzhen, a developed metropolis and business hub just across the border from Hong Kong. In Indonesia, Indonesian search and rescue teams continued to look for 74 people that were still missing on Tuesday, December 22, after a ferry sank off the country's eastern island of Sulawesi over the weekend after 2 survivors were found. 44 passengers have been pulled alive from rough seas by rescuers after the vessel with 118 people was caught in strong seas on Saturday, December 19. Sea and air search moved into third day. Chief of the Disaster Mitigation Agency told Reuters that with fate of most of the passengers still unknown, rescuers found 2 survivors, including the captain of the ferry. 3 people reportedly died in the Gulf of Bone off South Sulawesi. And in America, the 17 schools in New Hampshire's Nashua School District was closed on Monday, December 21, after the district received a detailed threat of violence against students. The district's decision comes days after the Los Angeles Unified School District, the second largest in the country, hastily canceled classes after receiving a threat that was later deemed to be a hoax. Nashua School Superintendent Mark Conrad said in a statement on the district's website that the school district received threats against students and staff at its 2 high schools specific to Monday. School officials have been working closely with Nashua police to determine whether the threat is credible. Christine Domingo reporting for Y News.
NASA astronauts Scott Kelly and Tim Kopra embarked on an unplanned spacewalk to fix a space station. Meanwhile, a Slovenian company develops a type of inflatable boat capable of carrying up to 5,000 kiloloads. Ray Consolacion will tell us why.
A Slovenian company hopes to revolutionize waterborne transport by developing an inflatable ferry suitable for carrying cars, heavy machinery, and large groups of people across bodies of water. The vessel, named Ferry Boat, is produced by the small company Hovercraft DAVAO, who specializes in a range of inflatable products. The success of the development is down to handmade drop-stitch technology, which uses fibers to connect 2 layers of inflatable fabric. The result is a sturdy type of floating platform which can be made in multiple sizes and withstand large cargo loads. The system allows for the construction of completely flat and stable floating surfaces, making it ideal for the construction construction of boats of various sizes, rescue platforms, floating stretchers, or boats used to carry vehicles to and from yachts.
In the moment, we are developing very similar rescue raft as ferry boat, and it is for a big rescue company. I think this is the main market for ferry boat. Also for divers and to transport any kind of vehicles, people, animals, big heavy loads.
Prototype of the largest version of the ferry boat is 8 meters long and weighs some 300 kilograms. During testing, ferry boat was also distinguished by its shallow draught of only 25 centimeters when fully loaded, making it capable of accessing shallow waters that most other waterborne vessels cannot. Meanwhile, NASA astronauts Scott Kelly and Tim Kopra floated outside of the International Space Station on Monday, December 21, for an unplanned spacewalk to fix a stuck rail car used by the station's robotic arm. The surprise spacewalk started at 0745 Eastern or 1245 GMT and is expected to last for 3 hours. The astronauts will move the rail car a few inches away from its current position so it can be latched in place ahead of Wednesday's December 23 docking of a Russian cargo spacecraft, according to NASA. This is the 191st spacewalk to repair the space station. Ray Consolacion reporting for Y News.
Colombians have mixed opinions on the wrong announcement of the winner in the 2015 Miss Universe Finals yesterday at Planet Hollywood, Las Vegas, Nevada. Precious Ong will tell us why.
The first runner-up is Colombia. Miss Universe 2015 is Philippines.
Citizens in Colombia have mixed reactions about the error in the announcement of winner during the Miss Universe 2015 finals in Las Vegas yesterday. Colombians celebrated when host Steve Harvey announced Miss Colombia Ariadna Gutierrez as the Miss Universe 2015.
It was my mistake. It was on the card. Horrible
But her
mistake.
joy was short-lived, as after barely 3 minutes, Harvey rectified his mistakes and proclaimed Miss Philippines Pia Wurtzbach as the real winner. For former beauty queen Paula Correa, they are still in disbelief in what had happened.
No lo podíamos creer, o sea, de verdad estábamos felices porque Ariadna nos representó maravillosamente a todos los sucreños, a los colombianos, y que de repente pase de ser un momento de tanta alegría, de tanta emoción, a que pase a ser un momento tan humillante y tan triste para nosotros.
Many Colombians were saddened by the unfortunate turn of events.
Pues como muy triste porque pues los colombianos ya tenemos Miss Universo y queríamos tener pues mi mundo y al haber ese error pues se genera un problema entre países amigos.
Colombian President Manuel Santos said Miss Colombia remains as their Miss Universe. On her Instagram post, Ariadna wishes to remember the moment when she was wearing the Miss Universe crown and sash. On the other hand, some Colombians showed their admiration toward Pia Wurtzbach.
Pues un poco triste porque como colombianos no repetimos la Miss Universo, pero la señora, la Miss Universo filipina, dio una respuesta muy sólida en la última pregunta y eso le llevó a ser coronada como Miss Universo.
Pues para Colombia fue terrible porque ella ya estaba coronada y estaba muy segura y trabajó mucho para lograr esto. Pero también se hizo de cierta forma justicia pues porque el jurado había escogido a Filipinas. Filipinas me gustaron las respuestas de ella.
Precious Ong reporting for Y News.
A group of lawyers in Colombia are planning to file a complaint against the organizers of the Miss Universe 2015 beauty pageant. This comes after the controversial proclamation of the winner during the coronation night at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. A tweet from a Spanish lawyer named Abelardo de la Espriella said they are seeking the help of other lawyers in formulating the complaint that will be filed. They said that the competition had not only brought material damage, but also moral. in their Facebook page. However, the Miss Universe organizers have issued their apology for the blunder committed by the host of the pageant, Steve Harvey. They said that the excitement of the live broadcast was evident, and being live means human error may come into play.
Filipinos based in the United States also celebrate Pia Alonso Wurtzbach's success in the Miss Universe 2015 pageant. And Nunez will tell us why.
It's Philippines.
Filipino citizens in America rejoiced after Pia Alonso Wurtzbach was announced as the Miss Universe 2015. Tess Dupitas of North Hollywood, California said it was like herself winning when Pia was crowned.
Lahat kami natuwa nung muling nanalo ang ating kababayang na nagwagi bilang Miss Universe ng ating bansa. Pinagmamalaki namin after 42 years, nanalo na naman tayo.
For Mars Maliksi of Panorama City, California, just like Pia Wurtzbach, he is also in disbelief.
Gulat na gulat talaga ako sa nangyari sa Miss Universe. Akala ko talo na tayo, pero mayroon palang pasabog. Panalo ang bata natin na taga-Bisaya pa. So grabe, talagang tuwang-tuwa kami.
However, Pauline Arellano of New York City was saddened by what happened to Miss Colombia.
Masaya ako sa pagkapanalo ni Miss Pia Wurtzbach sa nakaraang Miss Universe pageant. Nalulungkot ako para kay Miss Colombia dahil unnecessarily napahiya siya. Pero masaya rin ako kasi nag-apologize si Mr. Steve Harvey sa honest mistake.
Meanwhile, former Miss Universe franchise owner, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has a suggestion. He suggested that Miss Philippines and Miss Colombia share the crown. In an interview with Trump in America's Today Show, he said that if he were managing the beauty pageant, he would make the two candidates co-winners. He said what happened to Miss Colombia, in which she was wearing the crown for a few seconds but was revoked due to Harvey's mistake, was painful. He also believes that Harvey is a good host and that he admires him for taking responsibility for his mistake. Meanwhile, Pia posted a selfie wearing the Miss Universe crown on her Instagram account. On her post, she is overjoyed that after 42 years, the Philippines once again won the Miss Universe crown. She is also thankful to all her supporters, including the hashtag for her winning answer, #confidentlybeautiful. Together with the UNTV news team in Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Ann Nunez reporting for Y News.
Senate President Franklin Drilon has filed a resolution to honor Pia Alonso Wurtzbach for winning the prestigious 64th Miss Universe title. Senate Resolution number 1698 states that Wurtzbach's victory should serve as an inspiration to the younger generation. Drilon further states that Wurtzbach has shown how a dream could become a reality when pushed with one's mind and heart.
Those are the reasons behind the news, December 22, 2015. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Y News.
Nais